Welcome back to Daily ACIM, our deep dive into A Course in Miracles.
Right.
And you know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for another lesson.
Yeah. Another lesson, another day, another step.
We are on lesson 98.
Okay.
I will accept my part in God's plan for salvation.
Wow.
Just reading the title, I kind of get chills.
Yeah.
This is a big one.
It is. It is. And it's one of those things that you read and you think, oh, yeah, I get that.
Right.
But when you really dig into it, it's like, oh, there's layers to this.
So much depth.
Yeah.
So much depth.
So much depth. So we're diving straight into lesson 98. But, these lessons, they are sequential. They build on each other.
Right.
They're a journey.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have 97 right in front of us, but do you have any sense, just based on your experience with the course, what kind of groundwork might have been laid in 97 to prepare us for this?
Well, a lot of times the course will focus on, recognizing illusions.
And moving deeper into forgiveness. I think that was a big theme in the lessons I was looking at earlier. So, it could have been something like that. Just sort of clearing some mental space, clearing some, removing some of the blocks so that you're really ready to consider this idea of having an active role. You know what I mean?
Like we're prepped.
Yeah, prepped for it.
We've prepped the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're ready for this big idea.
Exactly.
I will accept my part in God's plan for salvation.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when we say God's plan here,
Mm-hmm.
what's the core teaching? What are we really being asked to accept?
This is a big one. This is basically saying that we are not just sort of passive observers in the world. We're not just watching this movie.
Right.
We are actually participants. We have a role, you have a role, I have a role. Everyone has a role. And it's unique and it's indispensable to the whole. So it's this idea of moving towards love and forgiveness and ultimately unity. Like we are all in this together.
Yeah. And there's a sense of purpose in that, right?
Huge sense of purpose because it's saying, you matter. What you do matters. Your thoughts, your actions, all of it contributes to this kind of larger shift in consciousness.
So it's not just me as a singular entity.
Not at all.
This idea of interconnectedness keeps coming up.
Right.
How does accepting my part tie into this web of relationships that we're all a part of?
I mean, that's a huge part of it, right? It's this understanding that, we are all connected. So by accepting your part, you're acknowledging that connection to everything and everyone. It's kind of like, the health of the whole depends on the well-being of each part. So your healing is part of the collective healing,
Mm-hmm.
And what benefits one ultimately benefits all. It's a beautiful idea.
So if I really embrace this idea,
Yeah.
these feelings of being alone, disconnected, should start to lessen.
Yeah, I think that's the promise, When you understand that you have this really important role to play, you don't feel so alone, so isolated. You feel like you belong. You feel like you have a purpose. And that's huge. It's a really powerful shift.
It's a really powerful shift. And I love how the briefing for this lesson talked about this idea of a tapestry. Like existence is this huge tapestry.
Beautiful, beautiful image.
And we all have our own unique thread.
Right.
Our own color, our own texture.
Yeah.
And all of it is important.
Every single one is important, yeah. If even one thread is missing, it's not the same, right? It doesn't have the same richness and fullness.
And by focusing on my thread, on my part, my own little piece of that tapestry, I can start to really cultivate that sense of purpose, that sense of belonging.
Exactly. It gives you a framework. It gives you a context. It's like instead of wandering aimlessly, you're like, oh, this is where I fit in. This is how I contribute.
Yeah.
This is meaningful.
Yeah, and it kind of takes us out of that limited egocentric view of things.
Totally. The whole point is to shift your perspective, to move away from that small, limited view of yourself and the world, and to see the bigger picture, to see that we're all connected, to see that love is the driving force.
Yeah.
It's about transcending those illusions of separation and scarcity.
Okay. We've got a good sense now of the core teaching of this lesson.
Right.
Accepting our unique, active role in this interconnected plan. That fosters a sense of purpose, shifts our perspective towards love and healing.
Exactly.
But we keep saying, God's plan for salvation. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, it's a big phrase, right? It's kind of loaded. But in the context of the course, it's not about some kind of, dramatic external event.
Okay.
It's much more subtle. It's an inner transformation. It's the process of waking up from the dream of separation, like realizing that we are all one, that we're all connected to God.
So it's less about specific religious doctrine,
Right.
more about a fundamental shift in consciousness?
Exactly. It's about releasing fear, embracing love, and remembering who we really are.
Okay, so we're not just sitting back watching this unfold.
No, no, no. This is an active process. We are participating. We're co-creating it. Our choices matter. Each time we choose love over fear, forgiveness over judgment, we're contributing to this plan.
And the sources really highlight how accepting this, accepting our role, diminishes those feelings of separation.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that connection?
Sure. You see, the ego loves to keep us feeling isolated, vulnerable, alone. But when you start to accept that you have this crucial role to play in a plan that is based on love and unity, the ego's grip starts to loosen. It can't hold on as tightly. You start to see that you're not just battling the world on your own, you're part of something so much bigger,
Yeah.
so much more loving. And that brings a profound sense of belonging, a sense of peace.
Like finally understanding where I fit.
Exactly. It's like, oh, this is where I belong. This is where I'm needed. And that's incredibly empowering.
Okay, so intellectually I'm getting this, but how do we live this? You know, we all have busy lives, things get hectic.
Yeah.
How do we actually integrate this into our everyday experience?
Right. It's one thing to understand it intellectually, but it's another to really live it. And the course offers some practical tools for that. One of the key ones is daily affirmations.
Yeah.
Starting each day by affirming, I accept my role in God's plan for salvation.
So setting that intention right from the start.
Exactly, just planting that seed.
Yeah.
Reminding yourself of your purpose. It can really make a difference in how you approach the day.
And it's not just about what we say to ourselves.
Right.
Actions matter too. The briefing mentioned acts of kindness.
Absolutely. It's about putting it into practice. You know, every act of kindness, no matter how small, contributes to this collective shift towards healing and unity. So it's like, yeah, I'm affirming this, but I'm also living it out.
It's a beautiful reminder, I think, every time we do something kind for someone else.
Totally. It reminds us of our interconnectedness.
The briefing also highlighted reflective practices, things like meditation or journaling.
Yeah.
How can those support this process of acceptance?
Well, meditation can be a great way to just quiet the mind, to connect with that deeper sense of purpose, to visualize yourself as part of this loving plan. And journaling can be a powerful tool for exploring your thoughts and feelings around this. You know, to ask yourself, where do I feel connected? Where do I feel disconnected? How can I choose to embrace my role more fully? It's a process of self-discovery.
And the briefing also offered a specific reflection question. What was that about?
Oh, yeah. It was. How does accepting my part in God's plan change my perspective on my daily interactions and my purpose in life? Really powerful question. It's asking us to consider the practical implications of this. How does this shift the way we see the people we encounter, the challenges we face? How does it change the trajectory of our lives?
It's really encouraging that ongoing inquiry.
Exactly. It's not just a one-time answer. It's a process of deepening awareness.
This is not a one-and-done thing.
No, it's a commitment.
It's a commitment. It's a journey.
It's a practice. It's a way of life.
And ultimately, it all circles back to that core idea of interconnectedness.
Right, recognizing that we are all in this together.
My journey is part of a shared journey.
Exactly. And by embracing your role, you're not just helping yourself, you're helping everyone. Your light helps to light the way for others.
Beautiful. So just to kind of wrap up here, what we're talking about today with Lesson 98 is a powerful invitation to participate, to really embrace our unique part in this universal movement toward love and unity. And by accepting that role, we can begin to dissolve those illusions of separation,
Yes.
discover a deeper sense of purpose,
Absolutely.
and really shift our perspective to one that's more interconnected.
Yes.
And we can cultivate that through daily affirmations, acts of kindness, reflective practices.
Beautiful. It's about letting your light shine, stepping into your power, and remembering that you are a part of something much greater than yourself.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow for another lesson.
See you then.